For those folks who follow the podcast, they're going to be very familiar with this face, the face of a wonderful winemaker, a very dear friend, and a total maniac, in my opinion, Jean Hoefliger.
Nice. Thanks for having me. Really, really good job on my name.
Thanks. I knew. I wanted...
You've been practicing for about 20 years,
yes.
so you're good.
How are you, sir?
Doing good. You know, in the middle of a 2024 harvest that is fairly condensed because it is almost like 2023 on steroids because we had a little bit more warmth, not hot, but warmth. There was about 1 month where we had 21 days out of 30 at 95. So it's not extreme heat, right? But it's warm. So we got ripeness fairly even across all varietals, and that really kind of helped getting everything ready. The cool thing about this year is we have very low pH. So you have high acidity that maintain these really fresh aromatics. So you have density that is brought by those warmth in the sun with really a backbone of fresh, crisp, very elegant type of aromatics. So I think that's going to be a pretty amazing vintage.
When you were talking about condensed, I believe was the word you used.
Yes.
How so? Is it just you're like crazy trying to get this done?
Yeah, we were picking at one point Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir, and Cabernet at the same time.
Wow.
So everything's kind of ready at the same time. Now we had a little bit cooler week, 10 days, and it's going back up to about 93, 95s for about 10 days, and that will really finish up everything. And so we're going to have a second rush. My estimation is we're going to be done by October 20th with 24 harvest. And honestly, it is condensed, so it requires a little bit more effort, a little bit more intensity of effort in a way. But when you don't have drama or problems and you have these type of quality, I mean, I go back, my average day is 4 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. I come back and my wife looks at me and says, "You're all right? You're tired?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure I'm tired, but I'm so happy because it's really making wine in an ideal condition," right? So you're like, yeah, after 2020 and all its drama, between COVID and the fires and stuff like that, everything's fairly easy. I think 2020 also gave winemakers a really good sense of going back to the real pleasure of what we do, because you can't really wine. And in 2020 you could wine, and there's fire and there's, and COVID and stuff like that. So it forced people to, I think, go back to really realizing a little bit more the simplicity in a way of the happiness of making wine.
What made you consider this notion of becoming a winemaker?
Failure, mainly because I was bored in law school and played cards and drank wine. And then when I first got into wine, I think the thing that really kind of hooked me was the balance between what you can control and cannot, between the science and the art. And then, a lot of people and stuff ask, do you think you have an extra talent? First, I would never say that I have an extra talent over anybody because that's who I am. But I think it's more, I really learned to outwork people, and that's how I kind of built my career so far. I think it's just I work harder. I work all the time because I don't go to work when I wake up at 4 a.m. or 3:30 or this morning at 3. I go to play. It's a game, so it's still fun, and it's very different waking up, 3 months in a row, 7 days a week to go play versus to go to work. And so it gives me, I think, a competitive advantage sometimes is I have a smile. Like when I wake up and I open my eyes, I actually rather get up and do what I do than sleep. Because for me, sleep is a waste of time anyway. So
how many vintages do you have?
26.
Wow.
It's 26. Some years I did 2, northern and southern hemisphere, but 26. And one of the other things that I love, and you know that because you interview and you have relationships and friendship with so many different producers of so many different regions, you always learn. And I surround myself with people. I have a team that I learn from every day. I learn from growers every day. I learn from consumers every day. And somebody really smart, Beau Phillips, actually, I'll mention him, told me a bunch of years ago, we went to have a quick lunch and he says, curiosity is a sign of intelligence. I'm not sure I'm intelligent, but I'm for sure curious. And so I really love hearing other people's position, thoughts, analysis on wine, on what we do, on the vintage, and on certain extraction. And I think you can only grow. And I reinvent the wheel every year. Every year I adapt my winemaking, not only from what I learned in the past, but also, of course, to the present vintage. And so I spend about a week alone, locked in my office, reviewing what I've done in the past every year to make sure that I adapt what I saw in the past to the current condition and try to improve the product. That alone is just intellectually so interesting.
So is there one particular grape that you've never really gone after that you've wanted to harvest? I mean, I know that's a difficult question, or maybe even a couple of grapes that you've never had the time to work with or never had the opportunity.
Yeah, there's plenty, and I'll tell you the story that defines that statement. My ex-father-in-law, one day, who works for a national French research institute, gave me a book, and when I opened the gift, I saw a book of 637 pages, and that was the dictionary of varietals in the world. I probably know, if I'm pretentious, I'd say 20%. The rest are all the varietals I don't know. And so every time I embark on a new journey or a new site or a new terroir or a new varietal, it's so bloody exciting. I mean, I just started working with Merivale, and Merivale has this amazing single vineyard Pinot program. And so we went to Sunchase, and we went to Durrell, and we went to a lot of different of these really cool sites, with different clones, 828 and 667 and Pommard and 150. That alone is exciting. But then you get a clone you've never done. Like, they have Petit Arvin. Petit Arvin is a white varietal used a lot in Switzerland, nowhere else in the world. They planted a little bit of Petit Arvin because the owners, Laurence and René Schlatter, are from Switzerland. And so they planted Petit Arvin in Carneros. So now I'm making Petit Arvin for the first time. Even in Switzerland, I've never had a chance of making Petit Arvin. So when you get to that, it's like almost a new relationship, a new encounter in your life. You're first a little bit intimidated, and then you get to know it a little bit more. Then you think you know the person, but you really don't. So it's a constant journey of again, curiosity and learning, and that is exciting as hell.
So we are at AXR Winery in Napa Valley, which is one of your clients that you work with, and you've been with them for a long time. But for our listeners who'd like to learn about you, you are wearing your advertisement on your vest, the name of your company, but how would they learn about you online?
Well, just go online and type jhwineconsulting.com, and you'll be able to see a little bit what we do as far as services and stuff. But, most importantly, shoot me an email, jean@jhwineconsulting.com, and come and have a glass of wine visiting one of the wine region I'm involved with, because that's also one of the beauty of wine, is to share and take time to enjoy people.
And that's the best part of what I get to do. Jean, thank you.
Thank you.